Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Happy Labor Day to everyone. Let me make sure that you can see me because I know you can hear me. Happy Monday, Feliz Lunes to all of my Spanish-speaking friends and family members, as well as to those of you who are with me that speak in English. I'm learning French, so I'm going to be able to say it in French pretty soon. All right, so let me go to my page and just to make sure we are all together and you can see me, and I think you can. Yay, you can. Here we are. Okay, let me turn the volume down because if I hit play, I don't want you to hear me. So there it is. Okay. All right, everybody. We are here together. We are in Enda's BOOKtique bookstore, and it is Monday. Let me pull this down. It is Monday, and yes, we're here. We're really getting things ready for the fall. So are we open today? I just want to let you know the answer is we are not physically open, but you can always listen, loves. You can always purchase books by going to our website, which is www.endasbooktique.com, and you can purchase any book and have it delivered to you. And if you go there and you click our bookshop link and you don't see the book on our page, our webpage, then let us know and we will see what we can do to get that book into your hands, okay? So today is Monday, as you all know, and many of you are resting. Some of you are barbecuing. I need some barbecue. So if you're barbecuing, I need you to send me a little message, and we need to hook up so I can get some barbecue. I'm wanting some barbecue, but I'm at the store, so I can't barbecue because I'm up here trying to take care of some business. So if you are queuing right now to my brothers and my sisters, you know, reach out to me. You have my number. If we cool like that, you have my number. I need you to reach out and so I can come pick me up a plate or two. All right. So listen, I have my brother who is sitting next to me and he's smiling. We said, you better smile. So he got that church smile. I met him at Concord. He got that church smile. And so his name is Curtis Corbin. And, you know, if you know the Pemberton, they're 4 daughters, right? But God has blessed us through our parents to bring a brother into our life.
Yes.
And so I appreciate him. He is a big brother to all of us. We love him. He takes amazing care of our mom. Has always been there for her. She's been there for him.
Yes.
As well as our family. So anything we need, he just steps in like a big brother. So we do use and abuse him like a true big brother. I just want to let you know. So, you know, if you're upset, talk to God about that. He did that too. He put you in place because he knew it was 4 girls. And we needed a brother, so thank God for that. It's good to have you. How are you doing?
I am great.
That's good.
Great. I'm Mactabulous.
Mactabulous. I'm going to use that.
Yes.
Oh my, Mactabulous.
That's magnificent and fabulous.
Okay, because I don't even know how to spell that word. So
I'll give you the spelling.
You're going to later on, right?
Yes,
not
yes.
right. It's Mactabulous.
Yes, Mactabulous. Yes.
I love that. So entrepreneurship runs in our family and those who are close to us. And so you have your own transportation business, right?
Most definitely.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we get into all of that, let's get a little bit of history of who Curtis is, where you're from, and your family. Let's do some of that right there.
I'm from the great state of Louisiana.
Yes.
By way of Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Okay.
Born and raised there. 2 wonderful parents. I wound up moving to Dallas, Texas in April of '85.
Okay.
And my aunt, who I lived with, was a member of Concord, and that's how I wound up at Concord. And I ran into this awesome couple, which is mom and dad.
Yes.
And they took me in like a son for whatever reason, but I appreciate it, and I am who I am today. A lot of because of that.
Yes.
I learned a lot about Dallas. I learned a lot about just serving the community through Darnell and Etna Pemberton. And so I've just learned to be a servant. I have a passion for those that are we call less fortunate, disadvantaged.
Right.
People who are just not looking for a handout, but a hand up.
Right.
And I've committed myself to being a hand up to as many people that are willing to accept that hand up.
Yeah.
and I've learned a lot of that through Enda Pemberton. She's been one of my biggest networking partners in getting me connected. In fact, the business that I started in 2017 was because of her. It was just a meeting. Of course, one of her many people. You know, she knows everybody.
Right.
She happened to be talking with the mayor one day about transportation issues that a lot of the people in the southern sector were having, and even companies were having with keeping people on jobs.
Right.
And transportation was a major issue with that. And so when she hung up the phone, she looked at me and said, "Son, I need you to go solve this." And of course, I'm looking at her like, really? You know, she never, if you know your mom, she doesn't ask you to do anything.
Right.
And so
she does ask me, though. I'm one of the few.
That's just a nice way of saying go do it.
Yes. Yeah, I'm the one that gets asked. I'm the one that gets asked. It's the issues. I got the issues.
Okay. If you want to believe she's asking you.
Yeah, she's asking me. Okay. She asked me. On the cool. Now, when I was younger, it was just told, yes.
But yeah, so I've just always, like I said, had a passion for but solving issues
right.
to help people to live a better life. And when the mayor shared with your mom about the transportation, yes, I took it on as a challenge.
Yes.
But you know what was so funny? At the time, you know, when I saw your mom, I hadn't seen your mom in several years. I kind of went on my wayward way a little bit, got in some trouble and stuff like that. And then I ran into her again, and I knew it was nobody but God. The timing of running into her, at the time, she had no idea, but I was homeless. I was living out of a lot of people don't know that.
Yes.
And so that was one of the reasons why when she looked at me and said, "I need you to go solve a transportation issue," I'm sleeping out of an old piece of beat-up truck, trying to figure out, now, how am I going to resolve this? But, you know, I didn't say no. I just left out the mall, walked around the mall, trying to figure out, now, what do I do from here, God?
Yeah, because you're right. Then she told me you needed a place to stay. So you're right. I didn't get asked. Yeah. I was told. So I had to get him a place to stay. Yeah, yes. And so you are correct.
Yes.
I had to think about, and I forgot all about that.
Yes.
And so we did get you. So let me say this before we go any further, and this is important to people who talk about ministry. I want to say hello to my brother Andre Anderson, and to cousin Tim, and to Kimberly, classmate. Let me say this: whenever there's two things I want to pivot off of that real quick, okay? Because I'm all about the ministry is all day long. One, the one thing that I found for me, and you just said that, is sometimes the best way to get out of your situation is to help other people get out of their situation, right? Because beggars can be choosy, but you can't get anything with closed fists, right?
Never,
and you got to be honest about your situation. And when you are, God will use other people to make provision for the vision. So having no idea that that's what you was about to walk into. And you're right. My mom told me what was going on and knew I had an opportunity to be able to support you and get in the space. And I really didn't know. I knew of Curtis. I knew you. But I was like, okay, now, putting some stuff on the line. Like, I ain't going to say what was on the line, but I was like, now, bruh, listen. When he was, I don't know if he was, were you working at the time?
No, I wasn't.
Right. So I was like, now I don't even do this for, kinfolk. So I was like, okay. And it was kind of, but you came through. I was praying. I was fasting and praying moment, because I'm particular about certain things that I don't do. And so, but my mother commissioned me to do that. And I looked at her like, really?
She asked you?
No, she commissioned.
Okay.
There was no asking. You're right. So I did have to change that. So I'm, excuse me, por favor, excuse me for that. I apologize. So she did commission me to do that. But, and I forgot until you just talked about it. Literally, I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't. I didn't forget about what you did either. I mean, so no, it was, but and you just said something that's so important, that sometimes when you begin to just help other people,
yes,
God will be a blessing. Because even when I went through, because I just went through a divorce, and everything, and part of it too was self-inflicted. Me just being stubborn and wanting to do my own thing, and so God has always told me that I was destined for greatness, but I'm gonna do it His way, and not my way. So I tried to do some things. Yes, stumble.
I understand what that
and
is.
so I had to kind of wound up getting put on my back, and so it was an humbling experience. But even in the midst of my divorce and all that was taking me through, my greatest healing from my divorce came when I started a divorce group and just started helping other people. So that situation, that my healing started coming when I and started just helping other people. I started a divorce group out of my home and everything, and helping other people helped me to heal.
Wow.
But back to my homeless situation was, and I often think about it, and I tell people is that God can take the just the ordinary and do extraordinary. So here it is. How do I start a transportation company with no transportation
and homeless So check this out. So listen, loves. God don't care. We do the Moses thing. Lord, I'm homeless. I don't even have transportation, but you want me to do this for other people, right?
Yes.
So what's up with that? So let me say this. We got a lot of people watching. I want to give a shout out to all of you who are watching. Thank you so much. And please share this. Post this on your page so that we can get more people watching. I'm sitting with my brother, Corbin, and there are a few people that I genuinely can call my brother. So I got one right now, Andre Anderson. These are the ones that are my go-to folks that know some stuff that would go to the grave with them. But God has put them in our lives and have supported us. And Brother Curtis has been there. And a lot of stuff he's sharing, even I have forgotten the things that we've done. And I'll say this, when you bless other people, God has a way of putting things in because I remember when my mother commissioned me, I was like, Mom, I don't even know when I don't do that. So, but out of obedience, and I'll just say that the seed has been planted, the things that are going on in your life, which you get ready to testify about, what God is doing for you is just so amazing. It's feeding off a little bit. Okay, it's so amazing. So you were homeless. You got into an apartment, and we're feeding off a little bit. I'm gonna fix that. You were homeless. We got into an apartment, and you started your transportation business.
Yes, and what I did was I just went and borrowed 3 people's vehicles. I just asked.
I remember that.
Yes, I borrowed one friend's SUV, another friend's minivan, and another friend's minivan, and I put my son in one. I got in one, and my daughter in another.
Yes.
And we began to strategically pick up people at 3 different train stations, and all of a sudden, agencies started hearing about what we were doing. And said, hey, we're having issues with getting people to work. Can we contract with you? So, and then Roy Duncan, who's a pastor in Palestine, Texas, heard about what I was doing and said, Curtis, hey, I got this old 1987 Ford 15 van. It's just sitting up. It's an old church van. If you want it, come get it. A good friend of mine, BJ Bass, drove me down there. Pastor Duncan shined it up, tuned it up, and I drove it back to Dallas, and that was another way we expanded the business.
Y'all better stop playing with God. Let me tell you this.
Oh my God!
God don't play. Y'all better stop sleeping.
You ain't heard nothing yet, Gene.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm sorry. I just had to give a get a shout out because some people sleep on God and have these complaints about God. Let me tell y'all, stop sleeping on God. Listen, loves. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Calm down a little bit.
No. I know. I like the excitement because when I get to telling it, it just reminds me of how good. So at that point, Byron Harris, who heard about what I was doing and used to work for Channel 8,
right.
He said he wanted to do a ride along. So he did a ride along. He did a story on me and everything. And then once again, it started taking off from there. At the time, Byron Harris knew the CEO of Enterprise.
Right.
And of course, we're steady growing. We're getting all this requests for transportation. And then Dr. Francois Booker Drew heard about what I was doing through your mom. And she said, I need you to get in the United Way boot camp class. And that was a whole nother blessing because that's normally unheard of.
Right.
I hadn't even created a nonprofit yet.
Okay.
And she said that, United Way and other organizations want to support what you're doing because when I started out as C-Lead Transportation, which is a for-profit.
Okay.
But in order to get grants, I had to set up a nonprofit. So that's how I set up Southern Dallas Link.
Okay.
And so when I got into United Way Boot Camp, I got connected with other organizations, and it just continued to grow from there.
So I want to slow you down just a little bit so people can hear the conversation. First of all, you're told that you need to start a transportation business and you're homeless without your own transportation.
Right.
Then God makes a way out of no way, right?
Go ahead.
And then you're told in order to get connected to United Way, you have to have a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
So the blessings is there.
Yes.
So now you got to go
Yes.
and set up your nonprofit 501c3
Yes.
in order to get connected to connection that already belongs to you, right?
Yes. Go ahead. Yes.
All right, so I just needed to slow you down for the people who are confused about how God operates, because we always feel like we need to be equipped, but He equips the ones that are not equipped, right? He prepares. We just have to prepare ourselves. We just have to go.
And make ourselves accessible.
Accessible and
Yes.
available, and stop complaining about what we don't have. What we don't have. When I cannot be around people who complainers. Just make me. I don't want to. I'm trying to say a word. I just won't say the word. Yeah, I just won't say the word.
There were a couple of things came to me during that whole process, because I was doing a little complaining, and even because I was still in the midst of my divorce, and just going through all kind of stuff. But some of it, like I said, was self-inflicted because of bad decisions I made.
Right.
But I was steady asking the question, why, Lord? Why are you taking me through this? And then I had to stop asking why and start asking, okay, then what? How do I go from why to what? So I made that transition. And then, as I've gone through this journey, now I'm a type of person, if you come to me with a problem, I'm going to only allow you to tell me the problem one time.
I like that.
And then we're going to begin to resolve it. We're not going to dwell on the problem.
Right.
And my thing is, we're going to begin to resolve it and move on. You cannot come to me twice.
Wow.
Because apparently, if you come to me twice, you don't want to resolve it.
Wow.
And so sometimes I'll even go so far as, when someone comes to me and they keep coming, I'll begin to say, so effing what? So effing what because you were homeless? Right. So effing what because you're out of... I don't always say F or one.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
But since we're on live, so we gotta. Okay. Yes. We're not in the living room.
I get frustrated when people just continue to dwell on the problem. We all got problems. Everybody's going through something.
Right.
And even with my experience now, with the clientele I deal with, I can kind of relate. And so whenever they look at me, they think I've always been there. I've had people riding my vehicle. A lot of them are people from some of the different homeless shelters. And they say, well, Mr. Chris, I sure want to get a business like you. I want to be where you're at. And when I share with them my story, they don't believe it because they look at me. You don't look like someone.
Right.
That's why you can't judge a book by its cover,
right.
And everything. So what happened after Byron Harris did that ride along, and then Enterprise came along, and then they gave me a deal on all of a sudden now I've gone from 1987 vehicles to all brand new access to all brand new vehicles on a regular basis with Enterprise.
Okay. Hold on, slow. You're moving too fast.
Oh, okay.
People need to hear this. You went from what year vehicle?
1987. Boy, borrowed vehicles to 1987 Ford 15 passenger to up to date year to year vehicles with Enterprise. They were giving me brand new. In other words, I could trade. Like at that time, it was 2017.
Kind of like a lease.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but I was getting them for little or nothing.
Wow.
The rates they were giving me because of the people I didn't know them, they knew me.
Right.
And of course, a lot of it had to do with my relationship with Edna Pemberton.
Right.
People were doing things because of her, because she asked me to.
Yes.
So yes, I was able to. So if it was 2017, I was operating with 2017 vehicles, and then I met a young lady through Dr. Drew, Wendy Burton.
Okay.
Well, Wendy Burton is with the Communities Foundation in Texas. Well, Wendy heard about what I was doing and called me and said, the Hunt family has 7 Tahoes. And I said, huh? She said, do you need them? I said, not only do I need them, I want them.
Right.
And so the Hunt family donated 7 Chevy Tahoes to us.
Now, let everybody know who the Hunt family is, just in case someone is watching that's not from Texas.
Hunt Oil. The Hunt Oil.
Yes.
Them folk over in North Dallas got money. They were
oil.
Yes, Hunt Oil.
Okay.
Well, it was really the Hunt Foundation.
Yeah, correct.
And so they wound up donating those Tahoes to us, and so I became amazed. Wow! So I went from being homeless, sleeping in an old beat up truck.
With beat-up truck, right?
Well, yes, beat up truck.
Okay.
Not having no place to live.
Right.
So now all of a sudden I've got a fleet of vehicles, and it just continued to snowball from there.
Right.
And then during that time, while I started taking people to work, I realized that it was more than just getting people jobs, because so many times we think if we get a person a job, and the thing with our issue was, our deal was the transportation. We were getting them connected with good living wage jobs. because we were taking them to jobs that the public transportation system could not reach.
Right.
So that's what made our situation so unique. Because some people may say, well, I don't understand. But most of your living wage jobs were not on the public transportation system. So
right.
what we would do, we pick them up from the train station where DART stopped and took them to places like Ennis and Plano and McKinney and Grand Prairie to where the living wage jobs were.
Yes.
But we realized getting them a job was not enough. A lot of the time we realized these people were having, of course, housing issues,
right.
Job training issues,
right.
financial literacy issues. So during my boot camp time with United Way, I was able to meet other organizations that would address those issues.
Right.
So I began to form a cohort with nobody but God, allowing me to meet other organizations that could address the other issues, because my focus was transportation.
Right.
Now at one time I did try to do all and everything, but that's not how God operates.
Right.
And so I began to partner with these other organizations and stay focused with my transportation.
Right.
And then more business. The transportation director of the city of Dallas heard about what I was doing and asked me, said, man, we've got problems with getting seniors to the doctor. And so then we began we took that contract on for a couple of years, getting seniors to the doctor, taking them to the grocery store. And then Parkland Healthy Stars heard about us, and they were having issues with getting pregnant teens to the doctor.
Wow.
There was a study that a lot of your infant mortality rate was going up because a lot of our young teenagers in the southern sector could not get to their doctors.
Wow.
So what I've discovered over the years is just like there's food deserts, there are transportation deserts.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people, transportation is a huge issue.
Right.
But I know that my goal is I want to revolutionize the transportation services here in the DFW Metroplex.
Yes.
But make it affordable
Yes.
At the end of the day. So that's where we're headed.
I love it. If you're just joining us, first of all, let me give a shout out to everybody who's here. We got my brother Andre, cousin Tim, Kimberly, Vet. Hey, Vet, my soror, Vada's playing. She's going to be one of our newer chaplains. We're going to recruit her pretty soon. Classmate Kimberly, cousin Lisa, and everyone else who's watching live, or you're going to be watching down the road. Listen, I've got my brother here, Curtis Corbin, who is with us, and he's talking about his life, where he went from homelessness to entrepreneurship, and the testimony that he's providing. If you're not encouraged, I'm praying that you are. We're here at my bookstore, at Enda's BOOKtique bookstore, and I share my testimony often to people, but I also want to share other people's stories, because this is important for you to hear, because sometimes we think we're all alone, we're by ourselves. We go through a pity party, which is normal. That's called human nature.
Yes.
But you went through a divorce. And let me say this, one thing that you shared, which is important, is that you owned your part of decision making.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Sometimes we blame circumstances that happen on the circumstances, and we're not honest and real that some of that was because of our self-inflicted decision making. And I've been at those places where I've had to say, Jim, you could have done better than that. Your decisions is what got you here.
Yes.
So you're going to have to change your thinking. We even talked about systems, how I had to create better systems so that my patterns would improve and I would get better productivity and results. So I couldn't just blame COVID for everything.
Yes.
COVID did hit all of us hard, but I had to learn how to pivot so that I could be productive, because there are some people who still were successful during COVID and still on this side of COVID, right? We still have COVID going on. So that's critical. And God is so good. Again, I appreciate you even making sure that we understand how God maneuvers and makes things happen in the midst of our situations. And what's for you is for you.
All day long.
Right? So he puts it in your face now. It's your responsibility to do your part.
And I like the way you say and that's the thing I share with anybody, because I've had so many people, they come to me and say, you know what, man, I'm going to go start my transportation business. And I'm going to get some of your business. And thinking they're going to put me out of business.
Right.
When, like you just said, what God has for you, there's nothing anybody, and people are always saying, Curtis, what about your competition? Do you worry about Uber? Do you worry about Lyft? I said, no, they need to worry about me.
Right.
I said, at the end of the day, I don't worry, because if we focus on our competition, it takes away from the energy that we can be doing to continue to, because we got to remember, the same person that created Uber and Lyft is the same God that created my business.
Right.
At the end of the day.
I love it.
At the end of the day. So I I don't worry about my competition at all. To me, there's no competition.
Yes. Yeah. I'm my competition.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
I'm making. What do I need to do to become a better person?
Yes.
What do I need to do to become a better entrepreneur? I'm my own competition. When I get up in the morning, you're right. I don't think about what everybody else is doing. I celebrate.
Others' accomplishments.
There are accomplishments, but I don't have. You're right. It's such a waste of energy and time to try to figure out what everybody else is doing and see how I can be better than them. I just look at how can I become a better Gene, better Curtis. Curtis. Yes. I mean, and it takes enough mind space and my time than worrying about everybody else. Plus, it's enough out here for everybody. Listen, loves, it's so much out here. It's enough. Gosh. And if we work together and support each other, we become a better people in our community becomes so much better. If you're just watching us and, hey, Dandy, good afternoon out there in H-Town, Houston, Texas. So you're watching us. I have my brother here, Corbin, and he's giving his testimony, sharing his testimony about his business. So let's talk about, we've talked about what led you up to this point. Let's talk about what are you doing right now with your business as an entrepreneur.
One of the biggest things I'm doing is, and I am learning how important branding is, being branded in marketing. So I am currently working on my branding and enhancing and increasing the impact that we're having on the DFW for its transportation.
Okay.
One of the things we're doing is we're getting ready to launch an app, and it's called $5 Rides, where people can travel anywhere for $5. And so we're working on that.
I need to invest.
Yes, I was about to say
where's your marketing person said, where's your information?
I just had it.
He just had it. Did it? Okay, it's on the floor. We're gonna get there.
Yes, and so the good thing with that is you can be an investor or a rider. So we are looking for people that are interested in investing. So it's like, I guess I can say it's another form of Uber, but it's going to give people an opportunity to invest in a ride share and become a ride share investor and help us to expand what we're doing as it relates to.
Hand me one of those. Let me look at it. See, you put it to the side. You play too much. Here we go. Here's the information. He played too much. You don't understand. That's okay. That's what we're here for, baby.
And then they can also go to rideshareinvestor.com to get more information.
All right.
And at the end of the show, I'll give them my number if they want to call and get more information about what we're doing with that. And then we're also working to create our own mobile job fair, where we're looking to get some sponsors on board to help us, where we can take our mobile job fair vehicle to different parts of the metro. We want to take the jobs to the community, to the different rec centers, to the different apartments that are set up there. One of the great things that has happened to me over the last year is a young lady named Latasha Heron. Her dad has one of the biggest real estate companies. She works for
Mr. Heron.
Yes. Well, she works for the Dallas Regional Chamber. And she heard about my transportation service, and she came to the deck up in the mall one day and was talking to them up there and said, I'm looking for someone to provide shuttle service for some of our partners and our members to come and shuttle them to the 7th sector. Well, she saw my banner sitting there, and she said, who is that guy? I need to talk with him. And so she got in touch with me and asked me, she said, can you assist us with some transportation? And one of the things your mom always taught me, never say no. Just say yes and figure it out. And so they were needing a shuttle bus with a bathroom. Well, my shuttle buses don't have bathrooms, but I was going to figure it out. So I said, okay. I looked at the big picture, and I contracted with one of these larger shuttle services that has that kind of vehicle. But I looked at it from the standpoint not so much of making money off of each event, but the exposure that it would bring. And so one of the first, relationships. So one of the first clients that we transported was the Bank of America Foundation. And every time we transport and shuttle them around to the 7th sector, we were making stops at different places to just kind of show them what's going on in the South. And one of the stops was also at the office, where our office at in the deck. And so, but I also had a chance to give what they call an elevator pitch. And so I shared with them what I did. And right after that, and then of course, I didn't realize that Dr. Drew had already talked with the Bank of America Foundation about us. And so they became one of our funders, the Bank of America Foundation. Then another bank, Simmons Bank, was another one of our clients. So now when we do all these tours with the Dallas Regional Chamber, it is allowing us to connect with other funders.
Okay.
And so...
Good. You keep talking. Someone's asking a question, so I'm going to text the answer. So y'all, I'm texting, responding to what's inside. They're asking for contact information. So
yes.
I'm texting. Is it the 469 I need to text? Okay, so I'm doing that right now. Continue with your testimony,
and
please.
So every time we take one of these clients on the tour, it gives me a chance to share with them what I'm doing. And this is nobody but God, you all. This is nobody but God, because who would have thought that when I look back where I was for 6-7 years ago, that I would have the opportunity to stand before big funders. And so what happens now is, I'm bragging on God, not bragging on myself, not trying to be high and mighty, but most of my grants that I've gotten over the years has been with just a simple phone call. And it's all because of Edna Pemberton, Dr. Drew, and Wendy Burton, who believed in me and what I was doing. And they saw that, this is one thing they always share, is they saw the passion I had for what I was doing. That's the thing, one of the things Dr. Drew always said, she said, if you follow your passion, the money will follow. And that's one of the things I do every day. Every day I wake up, I love the fact I can get up every morning and do what I love doing. When you can get up and love what you're doing. And one of the things Steve Harvey always talks about is sometimes you just got to take that leap. Yes. And when I look back, that's what I did when I walked out of your mom's office that day. When she said, okay, go solve this problem, son. Yes. And I'm trying to figure out. So I had to just take that leap. And it's like one thing after another has come about. Yes. And I love it. And so doors have just opened up. You know, we're going to have the mobile job fair getting set up pretty soon. Okay. And we're also looking to do what we call I call it the Sealy Empowerment Center. And one of the things that I always told God, if he ever positions me, I want to be able to reach back and help other small businesses. So I want to take some of the same resource that has blessed me to be able to be a blessing to other nonprofits, other small businesses. But the thing is, you got to be willing to be committed to put in the work. So many times people just want people to hand them something. Yes. But you got to be willing to have a willingness to partner with people. And like you said, you got to be willing to open your hand, because a cold hand, like you said, can't get free.
And then put in the work. Let me give him again. Your name is Curtis Corbin, and the name of his business is Sealy Transportation. Yes. And the phone number is 469-818-7989. My boss is telling me to put the mic up higher. Oh, down? Okay, she said put it down. Okay, so it's 469-818-7989. That's 469-818-7989. I'm saying it because we put this on our YouTube channel as well, and everybody's not in the chat. You're in the chat for Facebook, but of course, if you are watching us through YouTube, we don't have that chat open, and we'll also type it into this information as we post it. Okay, we haven't done that. I want to say good morning to Victor Eldridge and my Lina's sister Brenda Williams as well, who is joining us, and all of you who are joining. This is my brother from another mother, but he is literally has been right. Yeah. Okay, that's what they say on the streets, right? So I didn't make that up. Okay, so but he is really like our family. Now let me tell you, it's a rarity that all four of us agree to bring someone into our family. Like some people will say, well, I'm Edna's daughter. We be like, no, you're not. She said that, but we haven't had a table discussion and we don't agree on that. So you might be in her conversation, but after she leaves you, boo, you're not in the family. So
and I kind of got that treatment just a little bit when I first met you.
When we started, we don't just bring you in. It takes a minute to warm up. Yeah. They say I'm the meanest. I would say that's probably true.
You were out of all four, yeah.
I am.
Myra had a little more of attitude. Myra was kind of...
Myra is protective of my mother.
Very.
Listen,
very,
now, I am like the sheriff for everybody, but Myra, my youngest sister Myra, she's the marshal. Yeah, she actually has...
You're like the judge and attorney. Yeah. You're like the judge and attorney.
I'm the judge and attorney.
Yeah, you were asking questions that I didn't feel like answering.
Oh, okay.
But I had to answer them if I was going to get to the next stage.
That's a good point.
And so
my son says that my mom don't start asking a lot of questions. Yeah. I'm going to ask questions.
Yeah.
I need to know.
I remember. Yeah. I'll have to tell you off air some of the questions you asked me. Yeah. I said, really? Okay. But I wasn't going nowhere because I really...
Now, I'm going to tell you what's interesting. There are a few people that have that attitude. Like after I get through sending them through the judge, attorney, jury situation, they said, well, I'm not going anywhere. So after you get through with all of that, I'm staying. I'm here, which is interesting. So those are the ones I know God really has. I didn't scare them off. It wasn't intentional. It's just who I am. So yeah, when you first came into the family, it's a rarity that all four of us agree. And we even get on, Mom and Rita sometimes about, hey, make sure Curtis is good. And we even include you in our activities, which is rare.
Yes.
Like if we go to football games, we say, hey, call Curtis and see if he wants to go. So I'm going to tell you, it's a rarity.
I knew when I was in. Yeah.
When did you know? So,
when I got invited over for dinner.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what's so interesting? It's not just anybody that your mom and dad was allowing to get to that point.
That's true.
So I knew, even when I met your mom and dad, I knew that, okay, you're gonna have to be something, not something so much special, but they just don't let anybody.
Very discerning.
Very discerning. And your mom, I done watched your mom even to this day.
Yes.
There are people who will come to her office and she'll shoo them off.
She's cutthroat. Now, let me tell y'all don't understand my mom.
Yes.
Now, everybody says I'm the mean one, but I have nothing compared to Edna Pemberton. Ooh. Now, my mom, and she holds nothing back. She was straight up saying what she says was on her mind. And then as she has gotten older, she has earned that right, so she acts like it.
Yes.
Yeah, she's very, very, very just business minded, but she loves you now.
Yes.
She loves you, but she doesn't play. So please don't go ask for help.
Oh, you better have your ducks in a row.
Yes, or get them in a row.
Yes.
Right? Get them in a row.
Yeah, if she feel any shadiness, she will tell you, I don't like it. Get out my office.
Yes. So
I've seen her put people out. Yes, and the P.
She's tough like that. So nothing but love to my mom. And I'll say this to give her kudos. Southwest Central Mall, Redbird Mall, Southwest Central Mall, Redbird Mall now again, is still there because of the fight of my mom.
Yes.
So ask anybody in Dallas, Texas. This is not smoke. This is real conversation. There are articles about it. How my mother was an advocate to not have that mall closed when a lot of the malls in the Dallas area was closing. She fought to keep that mall open. And now, of course, there are other things that are renovating the mall and stuff like that are happening. But it is because of the fight and the dedication of my mom to Oak Cliff. And we're not originally from Texas.
Right.
We're from Chicago. But she came to Dallas, Texas, came to Oak Cliff and made it her home.
Hit the ground running.
And hit the ground running. Transportation was one of the things that we fought for with Dawn. I was pregnant with my oldest son in 1991. Never forget it. I'm actually in some history book pregnant, which I wish they'd get rid of that history book. But somebody found it. But I was standing before the city council. My mother had me stand up like I was doing an Easter speech. And I had to, I spoke before the city council of why the transportation needed to be expanded in the southern Dallas area, because really you had to, at one time, to go from one part of southern Dallas to the other, you had to go downtown first.
Yes.
And then come back like to a place that was maybe 30 minutes or let me say this, 20 minutes away. You had to take an hour trip to do that. So she was one of the ones that created that Loop 12 that they had for DART. And it's not that the transportation is much 100% better, but it is it improved since then. So she's always had a heart to improve transportation in the southern section of Dallas. So I wasn't surprised when you told me about that situation.
Oh yeah, that's been one of her.
Yes.
Well, she's always about resolving issues for people in the southern section.
Right.
And she's always known transportation is one of those major issues. And I will say this, for anybody that wants to get to know Edna Pemberton, please understand that you have to be willing to take her straightforwardness and understand that she doesn't sugarcoat.
So you're giving them an advance warning?
Yes. In fact, I have gotten to a point where I tell her, I said, Miss P, don't you know you get on my nerves sometimes? You know what she said?
She does.
Yeah. She's called me. Your mom called me one time, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And I didn't answer the phone.
Yes.
And then she called back at 7. So
yes.
I know you saw me calling.
Yes.
And she said, and she'll even leave a message. I know you hear me talking to you.
Yes.
She doesn't care.
Yes.
But it's okay. She's earned that right.
Yes. And she generally wants you to be successful.
Yes. Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, she has the heart that bleeds for her people to be successful, right?
Most
to be successful. So much love to my mom and to those of you who know her. So I might be the meanest of the four, but I got it honestly.
Very honestly.
From Enda Pemberton. Now, but my discipline, my structure comes from my dad. So my dad, I was the firstborn, and so he was Marine, preacher, police officer, teacher. All of that came into me.
And your daddy was very protective of all of y'all.
He was.
I told your dad one day, I said, how would you feel if I tried to date one of your daughters? He just did this. No, it's not going to work. No, you wouldn't pass the test. Yeah.
He's protective.
Very protective. Yeah. So and I miss him till this day, too.
He's not here with us anymore, and he's in best arms and best care of Jesus Christ. Well, it's been a great conversation, Would you share with your contact information again with those who are watching?
Yes,
us?
and let me say this, you all. As far as investors go, as far as the rideshare investor, I promise you faithfully, you might want to get in on this while you can, because it's going to scale to other cities, other metroplex cities. So we're all looking for some investors to come in and be a part of something special that's going to revolutionize the transportation services. So you can go to sealytransportation.com, or you can give me a call at 469-818-7989. And our website is, our email is sealytransportation1@gmail.com.
Awesome sauce. Now listen, everybody, thank you so much for allowing us to intrude into your Labor Day holiday. But I just wanted, this is the best time we can connect, and I can have some real time with my brother, because he was trying to squeeze me in for 30 minutes. I was like, what? No.
Not you, Jim.
So, but I really appreciate you all watching us, and if you can, share this or tag and bring someone into this video who needs to be blessed. There's someone right now who you're in a tough situation, whether you're going through a divorce, whether you lost a loved one, whether you are in a financial situation, you lost your job, whatever is going on, and you want to give up. It could be because life has happened or poor decision making. It doesn't mean that God has given up on you at all. He has not. And I'll share this. I got to share the gospel on this one, because I'm a preacher, I'm a minister. Let me tell you this. The one thing I do not understand is how people can go through life and not accept Jesus Christ as their Savior and Lord. Wow. I cannot imagine going through all of my experiences by myself. Yes. The confidence that I have is knowing God would never leave me nor forsake me. That's the beauty of it. And I know He's got me, and I can testify the many times when I felt like I was about to drown, and He says, "Did you forget what I did yesterday? Did you forget what I did for you this morning? I got you." And He does really have you. And Curtis just shared with us, homeless, sleeping in the truck, went to my mom. She said, "Hey, I need you to solve this problem." Made a phone call to her daughter. "Hey, I need you to solve this problem." Yes. Well, I don't even know anything about what my mother told Curtis. Have no idea. But God makes provision for His vision, and does it for people. If you just be obedient, just be obedient. And you may complain a little bit. That's called human nature. But don't throw a pity party. Just connect to people. Trust God. Trust Him with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. So, you're asking me, what does it take to be saved, to be in this family? Well, it's free. That's the first thing. All you have to do is confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus, believe in your heart that God raised Him from the dead, and you will be saved. That's what the Bible says. It's real easy. And if you're not for sure about it, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to your local pastor, your local churches. It's that simple. Get into the family. Get in the family. Once you're in the family, God's got it. I'm telling you, when God called me to preach, I was like, I'm not changing. God said, oh, you don't have to. I got you. Because once you accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior and Lord, once you accept the calling that's on your life, I promise you love.
Yes.
It's over with. He got you. And He's going to put you in the right position and navigate some things and humble you.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I know what that means to be humble. That's why when people celebrate me, I say, oh, it's such a humbling experience. Because I know I should not be celebrated. Yes. I trust and believe. When I am able to accomplish the things I accomplish, it is not about me. It is nothing but the Lord. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you the things that I'm able to do. I promise you. I promise you, I can't say it more often. It is nothing but the Lord. It is nothing but the Lord, because I know I'm not the smartest person. I'm not the quickest person. I'm not the most intelligent person. I'm not the most equipped person. I'm not the most I got it going on kind of person. Matter of fact, I'm a hungry person right now. So if y'all watching me, y'all could please reach out to me later on. Okay, I'm none of that, but through Jesus Christ, there is nothing impossible for God.
And I'm gonna say this real quick, Dean, is that I look at it when God took the 5 loaves,
yes,
and fed all those people.
My
That's how my testimony is.
Mine too.
You know, to go from sleeping in a, and this was the good thing when I was sleeping in that old beat up truck.
Yes,
it was in the heat of the summer.
Wow.
At night, at 10:30 at night, it was so cool and cold. I had to cover up.
Wow.
In the heat of in the summer of Texas heat. So that was God reminding me, had me.
I'm trying to
at the end of the day. So and so when He can take someone from sleeping in an old beat up truck to having almost 20 vehicles in His fleet now, that's nobody but God.
Y'all stop playing with God.
And I'm gonna say this. So when people go to the website, it's not SEE is the letter C, the word Lee, and then transportation.com. Some people think it's SEE Lee.
Right, thank you for saying that.
Right.
The letter C, Lee. Lord Jesus, okay, let me ban myself like I'm in church. Get in the family.
Yes.
Confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus, believe in your heart that God raised Him from the dead. You will be saved. We're not saying it's going to be easy. We're not going to say it's going to be perfect. I'm not going to tell you you're going to make all the right decisions. But God's got you.
It's better to have God with you in that journey.
I'm telling you.
Not have Him with you.
Because if He can do it for us, He will do it for you. I love you so much. Thank you for this time. You guys have a blessed and amazing Labor Day and Labor Day week. We'll be back with you with more amazing stories from entrepreneurs at endasboutique.com. God bless.